Hi everyone, we're about to get started. My name is Ember Gray. I'm a rising junior of the class of 2028. I'm majoring in biology and I'm serving as the core team captain in the Office of Student Transition and Family Engagement. Today we are hosting our hop-on webinar on transfer students and how to find off-campus housing. In a moment, I'll be turning it over to our presenters. Feel free to begin submitting questions if you have in the Q&A, and we will be able to answer your questions. I'm going to introduce our panelists and then hand it over to them. Today we have Julitza Padro. She is our off-campus housing and transition administrator, and we also have John Walter, who is our JHU student community liaison.
Good evening. I'm Julitza. I'm the off-campus housing transition coordinator here at Johns Hopkins. The main function of my position is to assist students, graduate transfer in our sophomore class in finding their off-campus housing. I work in the off-campus housing and community outreach office with John Walter, who's also here today, and we're going to go over a little bit on how to begin your search and securing housing in the Homewood area. So these are our off-campus milestones. We expect every student to go through these milestones at some point through the leasing and application process, though not everyone will be going through these steps in the same pace. We are here to assist throughout the journey of finding your off-campus housing. So one of the questions that we get often is, when should we start the off-campus housing search? The answer is as soon as possible. I know that some students came to our office in the past week. Once you knew that you wanted to commit and come to Johns Hopkins, that's great. But if this is where we're starting and this is the first time you're hearing about off-campus housing, our advice would be to start as soon as possible to be able to sign that lease. In our area, we see students signing leases 60 days out. Seems to be optimal. All right, go ahead. Next slide. So things to consider, talking with your family and any potential roommates to frame expectations, cost, security, distance, amenities, utilities, taking time to research the properties that meet your needs, understanding the leasing process, different for different buildings, and having those conversations with co-signers. And one thing that is also maybe different is if you want to go into a residential space. So each one of those landlords in the residential spaces may have different requirements for their applications. And then reread your lease. So in Maryland, as soon as you sign the lease, it is a binding contract. In some cities and states, you do have a time period where you could retract that dedication to your lease or that contractual obligation. But in the state of Maryland, unfortunately, as soon as you sign that lease, you're contractually obligated to pay the rent throughout the time period that that lease was written for. So be careful for any hidden clauses and responsibilities that are buried in leases waiting for you to find, and understand those implications. We see everything in our office come through from leases that are 6 to 7 pages to 90-page leases. So it's extremely important to read throughout those leases for any hidden clauses. So your options in the Homewood area is between commercial properties and residential properties. Commercial properties would be the high-rise apartment complexes that we have on the north campus, side of campus. We also have some in the east and one or two south of campus. There are over 20 properties in the Homewood area, and our office works with the properties that are within that walking distance that are over 80% JHU students and affiliates. There's also residential properties, which are houses, townhomes, multifamily properties that are all within the Charles Village, Able, Oakenshaw, and Hamden and Remington neighborhoods. We also see a lot of students in our row homes, who John Walter, who's here tonight, works specifically with our students who live in homes, houses, and multifamily homes. So today we're going to go through searching, which is a little bit different for each type and within your options, how expenses will be looking different, and benefits of each one of those choices. So our commercial properties, in the canvas that you had access to, we had our commercial property blue book or a blue brochure. Within that blue brochure, what was in order of proximity to campus are the 20 plus properties that our office has relationships with. Having a relationship with those properties means that if ever there was an issue, you can come to our office after you've gone through the proper channels and we can liaise on your behalf. We have relationships with the property management team and we're able to work together to come to a solution. So the benefits of having that going to a commercial property is that they do have a management team. Usually they have emergency maintenance and some of them have emergency maintenance that are 24/7 on the property. Most of them do have some security function, which whether it is a fob system where you have to tap your fob to enter, to tapping to using the elevator, to being able to access your residence, and then pest control in the city. Your management company would be in charge of pest control when you live in a commercial property. So the benefits of going commercial is additional support. So these are the 20 properties in the Homewood area that our office has relationships with. As you can see, most of them are very close to campus, all of those red dots that you see within this page. Again, the blue book is in order of proximity to campus. So if you're looking through the blue brochure, the closer that they are to the front, the shorter walk they are. And then when you're going to more towards the back of the blue brochure, those properties are a 5 to 10 minute drive. At these properties, their tenants are at least 80% Hopkins affiliates, though in some properties we do see more than 80%. So for example, 90s 33rd, HH Crestmont, those properties specifically are very parallel experience to living in a residence hall or a dorm. They do roommate matching. They're all amenities, utilities included, and they are also fully furnished. And so if you are in a 4 bedroom or a 3 bedroom at one of those properties, they are matching you with roommates and other students for you. And so you don't have to come with your own roommates to be able to sign and apply. At the other properties that are on this list, they're more traditional. So if you wanted a 2 bedroom or a 3 bedroom, you would have to know who you're signing and who you would be applying with to be able to apply to those properties if you're looking for a 2 bedroom or a 3 bedroom. And then when it comes to 1 bedrooms and studios, many of these properties do also have 1 bedrooms and studios for the upcoming year. So residential properties, for the residential properties, we would advise using the off-campus housing database. So for a property to be able to list and promote and advertise to students and affiliates on the off-campus housing database, they have to apply and they have to be able to be verified through our office. Verification requires them to provide us their renter's license. We're looking that they have had all of their inspections through the city. And then if they are a management company or if they're an owner who is leasing, we're looking that they have some affiliation or that they are the true owner of that property through property records. So the benefits of living in a residential property, you'll have more independence. You get to experience a little bit more of Baltimore. Each neighborhood in Baltimore has a very character associated with it. So Charles Village has the Painted Ladies, which are blocks of row homes that are very vibrant in color. Hamden has the thrift stores, the ice cream shops, and some little small mom and pop restaurants, while Remington has a food atrium and some eclectic restaurants. So each neighborhood has its own vibe per se. And then if you're looking to live in a large group, large groups would be found in the row homes. Just because there is an ordinance in Baltimore City that no more than four unrelated individuals can live together in a home, though at a 6 bedroom, 7 bedroom house where they are established rooms, some properties can get a zoning ordinance to have more than four people. So the benefits of living in a row home is independence and community, depending on who you're living with. So this is the off-campus housing database. It looks very, very similar to apartments.com, except that we have verified these listings through our office. Another function of the off-campus database there is a roommate profile feature. If you're looking to live with somebody else this upcoming year, maybe another transfer student or someone on this call, we really advise using that roommate function to be able to connect to other students, some of them who may already have housing and are looking for one or two people to live with them, or even to connect with each other after this call. Transportation is a big question that we get. So I'm coming to Baltimore. I don't have a car. How do I get around? So Johns Hopkins has its own service or shuttle service that connects to different parts of Baltimore as well as different campuses. So if you're coming to Homewood per se, but maybe you're taking classes or have your classes at Peabody, there's a direct shuttle to Peabody. Same thing if you are going to be here at the Homewood campus but have a lab, or if you have a clinical at the medical campus or medical institute, there is a shuttle that comes by every 8 minutes and will get you there within 25 minutes. Or, yep, it is on rotation every 8 minutes and gets to the medical campus every 25 minutes. So it takes about 25 minutes to get to the medical campus. There's also multiple shuttle systems. There's a Remington Express shuttle, Hamden Express shuttle, and then there are specific shuttles that go to the grocery stores in the area. So Hopkins itself has made it very accessible to get around the Baltimore area. After 6 p.m., there is an on-demand shuttle service. So when you're a student here, you will have an app. Through that app, you'll be able to call the Blue Jay Night Ride. It is a door-to-door service, so if you have a late lab until 8 p.m., 9 p.m., until 2 a.m., um, the shuttle service will pick you up at your lab or your building, and it is a door-to-door service. So they'll pick you up, let's say at Mason Hall, and they'll take you directly to where you live. On this map right here, you can see the shuttle service area. And so that is part of being a Hopkins student. There's no extra cost for this service. If the service cannot get you within a timely manner, they will deploy an Uber to come get you. If they deploy an Uber, again, that's part of your tuition as an Hopkins student. There's no extra cost for them having to deploy that Uber. There's also a walking escort that will walk you back to your vehicle, or if you're extremely close to campus, they may also walk you. And that is through the Live Safe app, which is another app that we have. So the Translock app is what we use for our shuttle service and on-demand service, and the Live Safe app is for our walking escort. And if you have any questions specifically about the walking escort, John will be able to answer those questions. All right, so budget and financial aid. So financial aid is based on tuition costs, books, and personal expenses. Your financial aid is for 9 months of housing and food expenses. So if you sign a 12-month lease, if you're planning on being here for 12 months, let's say you're taking summer classes, lab internship, then you would have to budget for those 3 months of summer from your 9-month disbursement. So the estimated amount of housing and food expenses for the 26-27 academic year is 15,842, or if we're looking at a 9-month time period, that's 1,760. Disbursements are processed at the beginning of each semester. So students usually see that September or January. And so your disbursement is cut in half, and you'll see half in the fall and half in the spring. The ref oh, Yep. The refund received are intended to be used towards your off-campus housing expenses. So that's rent, amenities, utilities, as well as your food costs. So this is an example budget. This is based on the averages that we see in a two-bedroom, two-person apartment. So as you can see, the disbursement, and this is using numbers from this past year, for their financial aid disbursement is 1,709 per month. Rent per person in a two-bedroom apartment was around 993. And then after they paid for their utilities, they had $509 left for the remaining balance. Meals was around 375. Of course, meals could differentiate depending on how much you grocery shop versus how much you're eating out. Laundry about $25 a month, and then discretionary funds were around 109 a month for this student in this example. Is renter's insurance really necessary? So I will say that many property managers, whether they are private or in the commercial property, will require you to get renter's insurance. Renter's insurance in this area for the 21218 zip code runs between $18 and $30 a month, depending on how much coverage you seek with your renter's insurance. So while preparing a bath, a student got distracted and caused the tub to overflow onto the floor and into the apartments below. Management informed him that he was financially responsible for the water damage due to his negligence. The cost to repair the damage was $30,000. The student was 100% covered through their renter's insurance. We do see these examples come through our office, not often, but this is the importance of renter's insurance. We have also seen through renter's insurance a student had their laptop in a coffee shop and left it unattended, and that laptop was gone. Renter's insurance covers that. So, depending on your coverage, renter's insurance not only covers your items within your home, but can also cover damage or property theft outside of your home, depending on the renter's insurance. What we see many students do is bundle there's renter's insurance. So if you already have car insurance, or if you work with a bank or credit service that already has insurances as part of something that you can add on, we see a lot of students do that before they go to an insurance first or insurance only company. All right, and I will pass it on to John to talk about our community and any public safety questions you have.
Great. Good evening, everyone. Again, I'm John Walter. I'm the Student Community Liaison and work out of the Off-Campus Housing Office. And my primary focus is on the row homes out in the communities that Jalitza mentioned. Um, you know, uh, Neighbors are very important to get to know, introduce yourself, exchange information. Um, and I would encourage you and your roommates to do that together. Some neighbors may not want to exchange information, but at least make the first effort to introduce yourself in the community. There will be community walkthroughs and community neighbors and what have you that have community meetings, and we encourage you to get involved in the community that you're going to be living for 1 or 2 years. Okay. So as Shalitza told you, the commercial properties, you have on-site maintenance a lot of times. However, if you go to a row home or a home out in the community, you do not have that. You do have an emergency number to call the management company. However, it may be the next morning. Unless it's an emergency, they will send somebody out immediately. Um, so that's one of the differences is that property maintenance is not immediate as it would be in a commercial property. Again, I talked about the neighbor relations. That's very important because you have to remember that some of these neighbors may not be students. They're lifelong residents of the community and have different hours as you, different social aspects. So again, it's getting to know your neighbors. Safety awareness, as Jalitza talked about, the shuttle service. It's very important that after dark that you utilize the services that are provided by Hopkins for you. If you do feel unsafe, you can always call public safety and they will also assist you. Uh, their number is listed on the back of your J card when you get it, um, and always willing to step in and help students out. Trash and recycling is probably one of the biggest issues that I get in row homes, called in by neighbors. There are a day for trash, there's a day for recycling, and the city provides all the trash cans and recycle cans for you to utilize. Um, so get to know um, the days of the week that each of them take place. It does occur once per week for each of the trash and recycling is separate. And you saw this map earlier, but if you can see the light blue dotted line that goes around a portion of the area, that is the security patrol zone. Um, Public safety does patrol that in vehicles. And there are multiple layers of security that protect you out and about in the community. The first being the public safety. Like I mentioned, they are in marked cars with green lights on the top that patrol all of those streets. As well, we have a contracted security company, Allied Universal, that are on street corners from 6 at night to 2 in the morning to ensure your safety. We have Johns Hopkins Police Department that patrols, and as well, they employ off-duty Baltimore City Police and Baltimore City Sheriffs to patrol the neighborhoods surrounding the Homewood campus, as well as the medical campus and Peabody also have those security patrols as well. But again, it's very important for you to use the shuttle service. If you do decide to go to a row home as far as maintenance, make sure that you read your lease and know what you're responsible for. Um, if you're responsible to cut your grass, keep the bushes trimmed and all that, our office has all of that equipment to loan to you for free. On the student liaison website, there is an outdoor maintenance section. You use that to fill out the form and let me know all the tools that we have are listed. You just check off whatever you want. We have anything from gloves, bags, rakes, shovels, um, a lawnmower, weed whackers, etc. Um, Again, I correspond with you um, to figure out the best time to I drop it off to you so that you don't have to carry the things through the community. And then when you're finished, you simply text me and I come back and pick them up. Um, the snow shovels this past winter were very popular, and we loaned them out quite a bit in the month of February because of the snowstorm we had. So all of that again is free of charge and encourage you to use it so that you don't get fined by the city for not having your yard kept or the snow shoveled 24 hours after the snow stops. So that is one of the other big differences in a row home versus a commercial property. And Julissa, I'll turn it back to you.
Yes, so our office is now in Homewood Apartments, which is 3003 North Charles Street. You can contact us through our off-campus at jh.edu box or call us. But if you do contact us through email, we also do virtual one-on-ones. If you have anything very specific to your case or your situation that you want to talk through when it comes to moving off campus, our office offers one-on-one appointments. We also do workshops for off-campus students throughout the year. John and his team do a Secure Your Nest series, as well as we do personal safety and defense classes. We do have a lounge for off-campus students in our space for socializing for off-campus, as well as study spaces that off-campus students can use in our new space.
One thing I did forget to mention that is if you do choose a row home or an apartment, many of the row homes are 3 levels and have apartments on each level. Um, Before you sign the lease, if you can schedule with the leasing manager, I will go out to the house with you and do a security check of the house and give you some suggestions to give to the landlord of things that may need to have some attention to it. Window locks, door locks, those type of things. I go out and look at it from the security lens to make sure that they are um, safe.
All right. Thank you, John.
All right, we can now do our Q&A. Our first question is, how does financial aid cover for the cost of off-campus housing? They said that they have received almost full financial aid.
Yeah, if you're looking for like a specific number or estimate, now that you have fully committed to the university, my best response is to find out who your financial aid advisor is specifically, because they would be able to give you an estimate of how much you would receive in financial aid for those two disbursements at this point in time, and that would help you budget. So now that you've fully committed, you should be able to see somewhere in your profile who your financial aid advisor is to be able to get like if you're looking for that more like soft number of what your financial aid would look like. But what it typically looks like is whatever that number is, you'll get that number is divided in half, and then you get two disbursements. So you get one disbursement in September or late August, around the time that school starts, so the first day of classes, and then you get a disbursement in January. It is one disbursement, so it is your responsibility to plan out the next 4 to 5 months based on that disbursement that you get, that one-time disbursement. And then for the spring semester, you would get your second disbursement that you're then planning out for the spring semester. Again, the amount would be dependent on financial aid because financial aid has a system to be able to crunch those numbers and give you a real estimate of what that would be with full financial aid. You can enroll in a pl meal plan if you are, oh, the question was, can you enroll in a meal plan if you are not living on campus? The answer is yes. So if you go to JHU Dining, they have the ability for any student, whether they are graduate, upperclassmen, can enroll in a meal plan. They would have there are different types of meal plans. So there are meal plans where it is, let's say, 7 meals a week, 13 meals a week. And then there's meal plans that you would get a block meal plan. So 300 meals per the semester. And so there, it's not open yet to sign up for fall meal plans, but it should be opening soon. So I would check again with dining a website periodically until you see that open.
The next question is, what is a cosigner?
All right, so a cosigner is someone who is going to sign with you. So not all commercial properties and landlords will ask for a cosigner, but some apartments and complexes and individual landlords will ask for a cosigner or a guarantor if you cannot meet the income requirement on your own. So cosigner or guarantor is someone who's going to sign with you and use their either pay stub or bank information to prove that they are able to cover and that you're able to cover the financial requirement to live at a property during that background check and that application part of the application process.
Our next question is, when should I start my housing search?
You should start your housing search as soon as possible. We are in constant communication with the properties and know what is available. If you're looking for an late July or August move-in, also using the items that you have in Canvas, those brochures, the blue brochure, we would suggest if you're looking to start looking now and reaching out to the properties. Many of the properties have a wait list if you're looking for an extremely popular floor plan or style or fully furnished. So for those properties, we would suggest looking as soon as possible to be able to get on that wait list. And also, if you're getting on a wait list, go ahead and asking how many people are on the wait list already, just so that you can make an informed decision. Because if a property knows that they may only have 15 to 20 units becoming available in August, but they already have 30 or 40 people on that wait list. That's something that you should know beforehand before you spend that $25 submitting the application fee.
Thank you for that insight. Our next question is, where can I find more resources on off-campus housing and city living?
For off-campus housing, I would suggest looking at our website, our Instagram. One thing that our office with our community living coordinator is that we are looking for things in the city to explore in Baltimore for students to do. Now, some of those excursions are walkable from campus. For example, the Waverly Farmers Market is every Saturday, and that is walkable from the campus, as well as there are some, the Charmery in Hamden has the Avenue. But we are also want students to explore other parts of Baltimore. So, for example, going to an Orioles game, going to a Ravens game. Baltimore City is extremely proud of their teams, whether they're winning or losing. Um, which like right now I think they're winning for the Orioles this baseball season. But also like there is a music scene here in Baltimore. Baltimore has been listed now as one of the top foodie places to come visit. Like is on the map as a foodie location. And those some of those foodie places, those food places are very close to campus, and some of them are even in campus now. For example, Urban Oyster, which is very famous in Baltimore for their oysters, now has their urban kitchen in our student union. Like some of those things were brought to campus, but we really encourage students to explore that foodie scene of like Fed Hill, Canton, Fells Point. And for some of these places, the shuttle will take you. So utilizing those tools that we've provided to really explore Baltimore City.
Yeah, those are very popular places. I've been to quite a few of them. At this time, we'll be taking no more questions. But if you either of you have any more advice or final thoughts before we wrap up, that'd be great.
One thing I would like to add as far as resources when you're looking, use the resources that we provide from our office and stay away from looking for housing on Facebook, Craigslist, those type of things. There are a lot of scammers out there that see for rent signs. They post something similar, take your deposit, and they don't have a place to rent to you. Unfortunately, I just saw a report come through from public safety today that that actually happened yesterday. Um, so be very leery and use the resources that are provided from our office.
I would say the same thing. Our office is abundant in resources to answer all questions. And we try and stay well versed in the changing dynamics of all these renters' protections. So, in the last 2 years, Baltimore City has worked really, really hard to now there's a Maryland Tenant Bill of Rights. There's a lot of tenant advocacy that's happened in the last year, and our office stays well versed in what that means. And so, if you ever have a question of, is this real? Is this person real? We have the resources to be able to say, oh, John, who has listed 123 St. Paul, from what we can see, he isn't the owner of this house, or there is no renter's license for this accommodation. Like we have that ability through our office, as well as just passing through and using us as the study lounge that and the space that we've created, I would say. But if anyone or if you get added to any groups on Facebook specifically that are like, oh, this is Johns Hopkins student housing, we don't have any social media or any social media groups except for our Instagram. So if you would like, you can follow us at JHU Off Campus as our Instagram, and that's where we post a lot of things that we're doing, where to find us, and things to do around the city. But Baltimore is great culturally, food, music, sports. And so we really do welcome you to Baltimore, and we hope that you utilize us and explore in coming to Baltimore City and Johns Hopkins Homewood.
Thank you for both of our presenters. If anyone that has joined in later or still has any questions, you can always email the first year inbox as well as firstyear@jhu.edu. We do have a few more webinars coming up in the summer that you might see and might want to pop into. We have our website, which has them all listed But otherwise, we are wrapping up, and thank you all for joining us.